morning, everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Coast to Coast. What's happening, gentlemen? How you doing today?
On. Good.
Jason, welcome.
Welcome.
Sliding in.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I'm gonna start right away like this. I had met somebody the other day who would not take a picture with me because they were a Cardinals fan, and I said, "You have to tune in on Thursday. You have somebody who is understanding of your pain."
There's 8 of us out there. Yes. Yes.
And most of them are Cardinal family members, but
Yeah. Related to Bidwell somehow.
I tell you,
good
you know,
stuff.
and it's funny. It's funny that they made Jerry Maguire, you know, his Tidwell, which I got to imagine is very, you know, they just said, "Oh, let's just take the owner's last name and use a T instead of a B."
Well, if you see, I have a screenshot of a picture over my shoulder. I had a Rod Tidwell jersey made, and that's one of my favorite jerseys, number 85, or the Rod Tidwell from ASU. So, yeah, he's a great Cardinal.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of just like Rocky.
Show me the money.
Exactly.
So,
Oh, man.
anyways, do we get started right away on the World Cup, or do we wait and talk about?
Nah, we might as well knock
that
the World Cup out of the way. That way we can get to some NFL stuff.
Well, I will tell you that yesterday was a very busy day in the World Cup. It started off actually. It's funny because I have an app that has all of the different games, and games that start at midnight go on to the next day on the app. So there was literally 5 games yesterday. First one at midnight. Austria versus Jordan. So, and you think okay, Austria, Jordan. Yeah. First off, this is the first time that there's been 10 African countries that have been in the World Cup.
I'm not sure if that choppiness is on your side or
not
mine.
That either one of them are in Africa here, but I'm not sure. It could be me.
Yeah, I think it's you. You might want to pick a different location because you sound like a robot and saying like every third word.
Could be you, or could just be Eagles fan. I'm not sure.
Like I feel like there's some weird lag. Like there's just something's going on.
Oh, that's definitely Eagle fan.
All right, I'll be back in a minute then. I'll let you guys start this off, and I'll be back.
Oh man.
I'll be honest. I'm not watching a ton of World Cup. Here and there, I'm catching some soccer, but I'm not catching a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm catching it. Obviously, I'm not a big soccer fan in general, right?
Yeah.
And but I'm not bashful about it. Like when people bring it up, I'm like, But I will be watching obviously tomorrow's game, which is US versus Australia, and of course it's here in Seattle, right? So
yeah, I tell people I'm happily married, and I want to keep it that way. It's I'm a diehard Cardinal fan. Obviously, I go to every game. I record the games. I break down tape throughout the week. So I watch a lot of football. I watch probably 85% of the games throughout the week too on replay. I watch all 162 D-back Arizona Diamondback games. I watch all 82 Suns games. So if I fit any more on my plate, my wife would probably leave me. So I understand that, and I'm very cognizant of that. And yeah, I try to I get it in here and there.
No, I'm with you. Like it's why I didn't apply for my credentials either, because with rugby that was still going on, the WNBA, arena football, and like last week, the only day I wasn't. Yeah, well, the only day last week I wasn't at a stadium was Thursday, and it's like, well, I mean that doesn't really work because for a similar reason, you know.
Yeah, well, you're working hard.
Well, but you know, my wife would be like, "Hey, you know what you should do is be home sometimes."
Right.
So there is that.
Yeah, we understand that.
So no, I will not be down there. I will not. Oops, clicked the wrong one. Yeah, I won't be down there in Seattle. I thought about it. You know, maybe going down and chatting with fans and whatever. But with how long it takes to get there and how long it's going to take to get there tomorrow, you know, me going to the stadium normally is between an hour and an hour and a half from my house. During World Cup, I imagine that's going to add at least 30 to 40 minutes. So for me to want to spend, you know, over 2 hours on the road to go get some sound bites from fans, I'm just not doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm with Erwin. Most attention I pay to my feet is using Tinactin. So, and that would be tough acting, Tinactin.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You know, and there's been so much talk about players that weren't born in a country playing for their country. You know, if you have heritage in a country, like I don't care that much if you were physically born there, right? I look at it as, especially when you think of how much talent is born in the US that do play for other countries, right? Like if you were going to make it where you were born, that'd be really tough for around the world. Right?
Other countries, sure.
Yeah. So I don't really care about that. You know, if you have hair, plus some of these countries are so small that they wouldn't even be able to field a team if they made it so that only people in the country, you know, or born there could play. So I don't mind that it's just kind of loosely heritage, whatever, like that's fine to me.
Yeah, you know what? I really don't mind it either. It's not, you know, that big a deal to me. It's kind of like when I talk to, you know, someone who's like born and raised here in Arizona and they're, let's say, a Philly fan. It's like, how in the world are you a Philly fan? Oh, well, my dad's from, you know, from there. Exactly. Well, that, you know, I get it. I understand. But if they're like, oh, yeah, my mom once had a lunch date there, it's like, no, that doesn't cut it. That's not, no. So yeah, no, I get it. I mean, other teams have to fill, or other countries have to fill teams too.
Yeah, exactly. Like you have some birds that are like in your microphone.
It's hysterical because I have a tree right behind me and there are birds, and it amazes me that you know, that you can hear them as well as you can.
Yeah,
I'm not amazed. I mean, even the birds talk smack in Philly, so that does not surprise me one bit.
Well, I am in Cape May, New Jersey, so we are about an hour, 45 minutes away from Philadelphia. But it wouldn't matter. These birds are still smarter than the Cardinals.
Oh man.
Hey, anybody dumb enough to be a Cardinal fan, that's
just signing up for pain.
Yeah.
Understood. But anyways, I heard what you guys were trying to talk about a little bit, and there's, you know, the World Cup. You know what? The best thing is that there are 214 different countries in this world. Only 48 of them this year made it to the World Cup.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and one of them being Curacao. Curacao isn't even a country; it's a province of the Netherlands. So, I mean, you can kind of even go about it that way. It's like, oh, yeah, they had Netherlands B team. Then they got destroyed by Germany, and then they're like, nope, that's not our B team. That's Curacao. But yesterday, they finally finished the first game for all the grouping.
Okay.
And there were. It's so funny that you call a draw an upset. But yesterday, Portugal had a draw against a team that was Congo, DR Congo. And Congo, this is their second World Cup. The first time they were in the World Cup was in Germany in like 1956. And they didn't score a goal. So yesterday they did what they've never done before. They scored a goal, and they tied a team that is, slated to possibly win this World Cup. And that's the second team that tied a country from Africa.
So I guess
And
it was known as Zaire back in '74. Interesting.
that could very well be. I know that, it's the Democratic Republic of Congo. So I can imagine that changed names a couple of times. I will tell you that I watched something the other day where somebody was betting only draws.
And cleaned up.
And no, he was not cleaning up. Initially, he was losing a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then Spain happened. And now Portugal happened. And so now all of a sudden he's back on the even side of things.
Yeah, I was going to say for those to be draws, I bet the line was big.
Well, Spain was a minus 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a plus 1,000 for Capo Verde to win. The draw was probably something similar to like a plus 800 or a plus 1,000. Since then, I mean, again, I don't know how true this is or not, but I think FIFA had launched an investigation to find out whether there was, that somebody got to the Spanish team. And that they may have, kept that game a tie purposely.
Sure. Yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
Brought to you by DraftKings.
Yeah. Speaking of.
If they find
don't
that
influence teams over at Bet Us.
That's right.
Although it's not a bad way to go if you want to make some money.
I tell you, if they find out that there is this type of malfeasance in the World Cup, you're going to see some full-scale changes, I think, across the board. It takes a tournament, and it wouldn't surprise me because it actually, my thought is that this is a lot easier to do because these countries are, you have all these different languages, you have all these different customs and things of that nature that it's hard to be able to police that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't surprise me to see that this is going on like this. And usually it happens on the world stage and then it would come back home. Like the NFL doesn't care. at the moment.
Mhm.
Because I feel like that the NFL can control all of the games through referees. And although they may choose, like, hey, we would like this team to win, the other team can win through that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, and I've seen that on a couple of different occasions where the referee tries everything they can to have that team lose and that team still wins.
Mhm.
But and when you're doing it on the world stage in soccer, you cannot do that because
Right.
you put the ball. That's a big net, and if you're kicking that ball and it's going towards the net, and that goalie don't stop it, that's a goal. You know what I mean? There's no way around that, and it's hard to score them.
Yeah.
That's why you don't see soccer games that are 12-10.
Yeah.
And
not-
if you
not very
do,
often.
I was gonna say, and if you do, that's
They're
It's
not
time
at the
to-
World Cup. Yeah.
yeah, it's the 6 to 8 years old. Yeah, 6
Yeah.
years old to 8 years old usually are playing where they're all
Bracket.
chasing after the ball.
Yep.
Mm.
So it'll be interesting to kind of see how this all is. I got to imagine FIFA is going to brush that under the rug and be like, no, that didn't happen. The goalie who is now the biggest media darling in the world now, who is beaten now. He's got more followers than the New York Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what cracks me up is that he's got to play another game. It's like he had said that in the midst of all this, he was unable. His mother was unable to come due to visas, the visa and stuff like that. Now his mother's here. So now that mom's in town, you better have the type of game you had last game.
That's right.
Yeah. And this doesn't shock me. In fact, I expect more of this from FIFA just because it's such a shady organization.
Right. To begin with.
Yeah. Like they're always like anytime you hear about FIFA, it's not because of something good.
Nope.
Like it is always them taking advantage of something. Whether it's
Right.
players or money or like it all stems to money. But I mean, every time you hear about FIFA, it's something bad.
Yeah.
And and of course he's saying the NFL's rigged. You definitely there are plenty of episodes where Pags has his tinfoil hat on.
And I'm not saying that it's rigged. What I'm saying is that there are times where the NFL would prefer a winner
Sure.
over the other. And
Yeah,
that
makes better
there
ratings.
can be some calls that push a narrative. The other team has the ability to win through that narrative.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And Erwin, that's true also. Sports betting does take some of the fun of sports out.
Yes.
As far as just like the joy of watching your team. Especially because now all of this stuff is sponsored by every sports book on the planet.
Yeah.
So it's shoved in your face constantly. So even if you were trying to sit there and enjoy it, they're telling you about the lines and spread and everything all throughout the game anyway.
But they have bet farms, like gambling farms in Russia, where so they have this new game. It's called like the table soccer. You're sitting down at a table. The table is got a glass top to it or like a plastic top.
I've seen it.
And you are kicking a ball back and forth against somebody else at the table. You can bet on that.
Sure.
They have people that sit there and play this all day long. And you get to bet on who's going to win one side or the other. And they don't care. They don't care
Right.
who wins.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean that's no different than betting on bar games. Like that's you with your friends, you meet up with some other random people and you're betting money or beers or whatever, playing Pop-A-Shot or pool or whatever. I mean, it's no different than that, right?
Well,
Like
listen,
it's human foosball. Like,
well, hey, listen, at our bar at Dolan's, we have a fan that we have like two, like a space where it's like that's the clicker, and we have each blade of the fan numbered. And then we spin the fan and we bet on what number is going to fall into the clicker.
see, so that's what I'm saying. Like during COVID, when actual sports weren't happening, right? People were betting on marble racing on TikTok.
That's it.
I mean, if you can think it, people are betting on it. So
Right.
I mean, that's not a shock to me. They actually have like a big foosball thing where you and your friends get into this big box basically, and then there's bars through it, and then you're just playing playing foosball. Again, I would do all of these dumb things. So
Yeah, the hard part is doing the flip. I like to. How do you do the flip?
that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, it would be where you're the thing, and then somebody else is controlling it. It's like that same thing with the bubble hockey. Having somebody, all you're doing is holding a stick and spinning around in circles.
The problem with the foosball one is, that person would just leave you upside down forever.
That sounds like a new ride that they should put over Great Adventure.
Yes.
But anyways, obviously there's 4 more games today on the World Cup.
Yeah.
But this is the game 2, and they go right down the list. So obviously it's groups A and B today, C and D tomorrow, E and F, and down the line. But it's we're going to see who makes it through. This is the first today. The noon game is the first game where one of these teams that play, it's either Croatia or South Africa, is going to likely, if you lose, you're out.
Yeah.
Because they already have 1 loss apiece.
Yeah. Well, and one of those had like a crazy goal differential, wasn't it? I forget.
No, I think both of them had 2, -2.
Okay.
But the last game, the very first game that was played was Mexico versus South Africa. Yeah. And at one point, South Africa was given 2 red cards, and they were playing with 9 people on the pitch. So it was like a 2-man power play for the entire game.
Oh. Until
the very end of the game, where that referee decided to give a red card to one of the Mexican players. Now, the hardest part, they found out that referee he's prone to give out a lot of red cards. So that was...
He's the Steve Foster of FIFA.
Maybe. I guess that's the way to put that. If Steve Foster's the one that's kicking everybody out. And, but those 2 guys can't play now this game. They have to sit out this game. And this is a big game because now you've already lost 1. So losing a second game, and unfortunately it's likely that you're going to be going home. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But obviously Mexico, who was in that first game, they play a little bit later today, and if they win, they will probably advance.
Yeah, no, they will likely advance. And the 7-1 game I was thinking of was Curacao. They got beat down.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Germany beating the Netherlands B team.
Yeah.
7-1.
Yeah.
7-1.
No, it was rough.
But Curacao scored their first goal ever. You know what I mean? And that's actually a bigger deal. It doesn't matter that you lost 7-1. the bigger deal is that you scored a goal.
Yeah.
Capo Verde, this is their first World Cup. They haven't scored a goal yet. But the fact that they held Spain to a tie is what the investigation's all about. Like, how is it that Spain didn't score a goal? Well, listen, they did have 27 shots on goal, so it's not like they didn't try to score. You know, same thing with like Ecuador. When Ecuador was in Philadelphia, they hit the post 4 times. Well, those shots, when they're not even listed as shots on goal, because if it hits the post, it's not on goal.
Okay.
Kind of like hockey.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It gets listed as a shot, and it's different than in hockey where if you shoot it, it's got to be stopped by the goaltender to be registered as a shot on goal. If it hits the post, it's not a shot on goal because the post is not part of the goal. It's just the holder of where the goal starts. And that's how they list it as, so that you can actually have a shot on goal that hits the post and not be registered as a shot. In soccer, they do register those shots. It's registered as a shot, just not a shot on goal.
That is weird.
That's how you can get 27 shots and only really have 8 shots on goal, which were all saved by the newest media darling of social media.
Yes.
The goalie from Cape Verde.
And no, I don't think they would start their. I don't think they'd sit their starters for a game 3. I do think they would, play with some depth.
And just because they win this next game, doesn't mean that they would win the group. So you have to.
They'd be in the top 2 either way. But
correct, because Turkey, even though Turkey lost 1 game, if Turkey was to win tomorrow and then beat the U.S., they could win that group. But yes, being 6 points would be in the top 2 and likely mean that they would advance either way, because even the third, there's going to be, out of these 12 groups, there's going to be 8
exactly
third place teams that go.
Yeah. So they're moving on regardless, but because even if they were to lose, you're still going to end up being points wise in the top 8 of the third place teams. Now, obviously, you don't want to see that happen, but I'm never worried about the U.S. moving on from the first group. Right. It's the next round that has proven to be an issue. in years past.
Yeah, and I would suspect that, to answer that question a little bit fuller, that if the U.S. comes out in the first half like they did in the previous game, you're going to see some of their star players maybe sit out the second half. But only like Pulisic is kind of working off of a groin injury, and they don't want him. Like, he's going to start, but at halftime they pulled him. They're like, no, we want you saved. We would rather have you rested. So there's going to be a lot of that part. You're not going to see all of the U.S. They don't need to dominate both halves. They don't need to win a game 8-0. No, it's better.
And
it's better to have those guys rested.
And of course, this is true. Obviously, you want to win, right? Because it changes, how things are aligned. But I'm just saying that the odds of them not moving on from this grouping is low. But yes, obviously,
correct.
You want to win all these games.
Yeah, and draws aren't the worst thing in the world. You definitely would rather tie than lose. Obviously, they work off of a 3-point system, so it's 3 points for the win. Each team will get 1 pointer for a tie, and of course, 0 points for the loss. So, and then it goes by goal differential. So, it'll be interesting all the way around. There was one group that everybody was drawn. So I think that was Spain's group.
At 4-0 against Australia, I think is going to be tough.
It depends on how they come out. Australia was a surprise win against Turkey. Australia, I thought, was an underdog to Turkey, and the fact that they won that game handily was a surprise. The way that the U.S. came out and played against, was also a surprise. I mean, that's not something that they were expected. They were expected to have a tough game. And the fact that they really put it to them is more a show of, I think that this team is ready to play.
Yep.
And they have the right coach for the job. This is the first time where I think that this coach is going to make the biggest difference on how this team plays.
Yeah,
I know Jason.
He had an interesting soundbite the other day, saying that the U.S. sports rewards losers, and that it took him a year to change the mentality of the team. It's like, oh, okay.
No, and I understand that part. You know what I mean? It's I was watching something else yesterday on television. The U.S. women's team was automatically expected to win.
Sure.
Where that was not put on the men's team. The men's team is not expected to win.
Well, no, but the women's team has been better than the men's team for a long time.
Yeah.
I understood. That being said, it's, the women's team has always been trying to compete on the men's level, kind of. You know what I mean? That they've wanted to be able to show the world type.
Well, they've been more vocal because they're like, hey, you need to pay us. We are the better national team.
Yeah.
And they weren't wrong. Like they are in the conversation for winning every time. The men are like, well, we hope you get out of the first round, buddy. Like, good job, Buckaroo. Like, so it's, I get some of the frustration from the women's side when it comes to that end of it, because they've been such a superior product, really for the last, 15 plus years.
Right. So, but the fact that the U.S. has actually been playing well this year, and that what I do like about this is that you see a lot more U.S. players playing in different leagues.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Union have, I believe now, 4 different players that are playing over in Europe, and a 5th one about to go the moment he turns 18. So it's the U.S. is starting to put together better soccer players and better athletes in general. And it's almost like a reverse basketball trend.
Yeah.
Where the world is caught up to the U.S. The U.S. is catching up to the world in soccer.
Yeah. I mean, they're not there yet, but they are much closer for sure. And yeah, we're not saying that they're going to win the World Cup. Again, I think first round they're generally pretty solid. Second round is a real question. Like that's where they flame out a lot. So, really, if you can get through that is kind of a win for the U.S. team. Now, obviously, you want them to go win the whole thing, but the expectation isn't there. That's what's so wildly different from the women's side, is they come in with the expectation to be competing to win that. On the guys' side, you're just like, yeah, like I hope y'all look okay.
Right.
Don't embarrass us.
Right. Kind of keep it close.
Don't be like the Cardinals. I'm just trying to include you, Jason.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well swap over to the NFL. One of the bigger things that happened over the last couple of days is Ruggs was denied parole, so we don't have to worry about everybody was up in arms and whether or not he would go back to the Raiders or anything like that, and it doesn't matter. He was denied parole, so his next time will be, I want to say it was December of 27. So he's not in this coming year and he won't be in the next. So I think that'll pretty much close the window on him being able to return to the NFL in any meaningful way. But yeah, so denied parole. I believe this was his first hearing as far as being eligible. So the odds of you winning your first parole hearing is low. So especially because this was a death case, like this wasn't just some random thing. So that being said, I think this pretty much slams the door on a Ruggs return in any way, really.
The only reason why I would have thought that they may have let him out is that the family would have been able to then do a civil suit against him, where they would have been able to, garnish his wages.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have any money.
Well, that's exactly it. That would have been the only reason on why you let him out, so that they could, financially, give a financial restitution to.
So the one thing that was kind of cool that the Raiders did that really didn't get enough press is they were actually giving the salary of Ruggs to the family. So, which was
that's very cool.
Yeah, it was a classy thing the Raiders did. Didn't get a lot of news about it, but and it wasn't something they had to do, right? Like there was no obligation for them to do it. So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But I think this is the final chapter for Ruggs as far as the NFL is concerned.
And that's probably what the reason is on why he wasn't offered parole. Because I think the next hearing, it's mandatory. He gets mandatory parole. So that
he gets mandatory hearing. He doesn't, like, his sentence is up to 10 years.
Yeah, I know that, but he gets paroled automatically from what I was reading on the next one.
That's
odd. Yeah, and you might I may have misread that, but it's due to crowding. As long as he doesn't do anything wrong during during this next 18 months or 20 months, then he will be let out on parole.
So to answer your question, yes, he is eligible to return. There would be some sanctions by the NFL as well, right? Like who knows what they would do on their end. So he would be eligible to come back, but whether or not they would let him play or if they'd have some crazy amount of suspension, who knows? So, I mean, even if he becomes eligible to come, he gets paroled, he's eligible to come back, the NFL may not let him play anyway.
I think he has bigger fish to fry than the NFL, though, right now.
Oh, no question.
I don't think we'll ever see him in an NFL uniform again, though.
No, especially getting denied, because you're essentially going to miss 2 more seasons.
Sure.
And it's not like he played all that much yet anyway. Now, he was young, an amazing athlete, but at that point, you're going to have missed 5+ years. Like the odds are the train has passed you by.
Yeah.
Right. And again, I always try to look at where could be the silver lining in this, and that, like, if he was to make it back to the NFL, would he be forced to talk to different athletes about, his experiences? And first off, you should never be able to drive a vehicle again. You know what I mean? To start there. And
so I think he's going to end up on that career path. Like, that happens to a lot of these guys where
Yeah.
they end up going on tours and talking to teams and schools, and they end up with representing charities and stuff like that, because they essentially flush their life down the toilet. And so you have to parlay that into something that is meaningful, it's useful. Plus you went to jail, right? So it's not like jobs are just flying off into your lap, right? So a lot of those guys end up having to be self-employed and get into activism and stuff because options are limited. So I would not be surprised if he is a mouthpiece for don't drink and drive and
mad or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A shame. It is a shame. I mean, obviously, you can't drive a vehicle 150 miles an hour and think that you're going to be okay.
I mean,
was it at 156? Is that where he was driving at, like 136? It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was like 150 something. Yeah.
So, but again, not much to talk about there because he's not getting out.
No, exactly. It was just, a point of news. But I figured we'd go over some of the free agents that are available still today. And so, probably the highest graded one is Joey Bosa, still not picked up on a team. He still looked really good early in the season. He looked like a little bit of a liability coming down the stretch for the Bills. But who do you think picks him up? Or does one of your teams pick him up? Seattle's not going to be in that market. Arizona could be. Probably get him for cheap.
Yeah, I don't see Arizona making that move at all. I don't see anybody in the NFC West making that move, to be honest.
Well, I don't think anyone else in the NFC West needs him for sure. But
yeah.
You know what? And obviously the Eagles aren't in the market for that because we have we have more than our fair share on the defensive line. There's a piece of me that believes that he could. You said that the West isn't in mind. There's a piece of me that thinks that he could go to the 49ers just because it's a brother. It's a brother thing, and it could be a money thing. I
think how inconsistent his play was coming down the stretch makes that one harder because the Niners believe they are still in their window. So unless he was just a depth piece for him, that doesn't really seem like I get the let the brothers play together, and I get all that. But if you are in win now mode, you're not really trying for feel good stories.
No, I get that, but I also look at it as so a lot of different teams are starting to incorporate the Eagles' thought process on the defensive line. Have your defensive line, you have a couple of guys that play 80 to 90% of the snaps, and then you rotate everybody else out at a 35% clip.
Sure.
So that each time that you're going in and out of there, you're only playing like 1/3 of the plays for the game, and that you're fresher throughout the entire game.
Sure. And to Erwin's point there, like I could see the Ravens picking him up. Like he could be a depth piece for them. And again, if it was in the West, the Niners are probably the team that would do it just because there are the other storylines that are fun. I didn't actually think that Arizona would. Doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to pick him up. But
no,
there's too many other holes, and it's not like you're going to sign him to a long contract. I mean, he's 31 as an edge. What's he got? A few more years maybe. So,
and when I think of this, I think of I put him in the same respect as Brandon Graham.
Okay.
So the Eagles released Brandon Graham with the thought process that says, hey, we know that we're going to re-sign you closer to training camp. We want you to remain fresh. We know that you know how to go through training camp and do all this stuff. And we still want you to come in and work out in our facility and everything. But ultimately, we're going to wait. We're doing the Indomitian Sue with you. You know, we want you to show up later. I want you to be fresh on week 8 and get your legs under you by week 12 and go from there on to be a to get ready for the playoffs and so on and so forth. I wouldn't be surprised that they go that route with Bosa as well. And that leaves him open for a lot of different teams.
That does. I mean, based on, like, if you were trying to do that, then I could see the Bills even bringing him back.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when the year started, he was playing really well, right? Like, he didn't start to fade until like week 10, something like that.
Well, yeah, but that's part of the problem. You don't want him to fade. So you don't want him to come in until about week 8 to week 10, where you're not putting him even on the field.
That's exactly what I'm saying, is even the Bills might bring him back in that scenario if they were bringing him back in week 8, week 10, week 12, somewhere in there.
I don't think he's necessarily at that level, you know, where he can kind of sit out till week 8, 9, 10. 49ers are a very interesting team, whereas, you know, they tend to bring in, you know, good guys that make them great, you know, average guys that make them very good. When you got, you know, what the 49ers have as far as a coaching staff, you look at, quarterbacks, the linebackers to, I'm drawing a blank, that first round draft pick from the Redskins, that DN that didn't work over in Washington. Then, you know, the 49ers take a flyer on him and he comes over the DN. He did decent from Alabama. What's his name? Played at Alabama, drafted by the Redskins. Phenomenal talent, just didn't have the motor. So I can see the Niners taking a flyer on him and him being a rotational piece and Raheem Morris getting the best out of him. Just like Brian Greasy gets the best out of every quarterback that plays for the 49ers. So, I could see that working, him being a rotational piece in that defense for sure.
No, I mean, it would work. It would work. I mean, and he'd get playing time because the Niners are always hurt.
Right.
Yeah, always. Yep.
So,
And when you think about this, Belichick won a lot of Super Bowls with that thought process.
Mhm.
Bringing in guys, letting them do exactly what they do best. Just do your job. Don't create penalties. Let's win a Super Bowl.
for sure.
And, having Tom Brady helped, but ultimately you still had to have all the other pieces because Tom Brady didn't play every position.
A lot of teams do that at a high level. You know, one of the best teams at that, I think, are the Philadelphia Eagles, not to throw you any flowers, but, when you got that D-line, first of all, one of the best D-lines in football, but when you have a rotation of 8 guys that you can just constantly throw in there, it's tough for any offensive line to stick with you for 4 quarters. You know, when we're trying to block you going backwards, we're blocking some of the best athletes in the world, and we're blocking a fresh 8, and your front 7 is phenomenal, and it's so deep, so a lot of teams have really tapped into that. The Eagles a while, but now, they're doing it. The Rams are doing it. Actually, every team in the NFC West except the Cardinals are doing it, and it's fun to see.
So
good.
Guys.
I was just saying, and like I said, the Eagles have been doing that now since Schwartz really incorporated that. So, and now that's what Cleveland also does. So, and
that's
even
who I
though
wanted
Schwartz
as my defense coordinator, thank you, was Schwartz, but whatever. No one called me. No one asked me.
I mean, what do you know? You're just a fan,
right?
So the next one that could be of real impact to a team is Stephon Diggs, still available out there. The NFL said they are not going to do any kind of punishment for him. He is through his legal case now. So still a great talent. You run into the issue that he is still a head case. Like, there is that element of it. So you have to deal with whatever off the field thing he creates. You basically know there's going to be a problem. You just don't know what it's going to be. But if you can weather some of that stuff, his on the field production is still really high.
Sure. It's almost like an Antonio Brown situation, right? Like, does the talent or the product on the field, does that outweigh what we have to deal with off the field. And I think in this case, right now in 2026, I think yes, especially with the addition of AJ Brown, that run game where they were at last year, man, I really think Diggs and AJ Brown, I really think that kind of puts them over the hump. Sitting in that division, that run game, that defense, if Vrabel can just, kind of cool it a little bit with the honeys. I really think.
I don't know that they bring Diggs back though.
Right. I think only because of all of the other stuff that's going on.
Exactly.
Like you have Vrabel with that whole situation. And then you have AJ Brown, who is still he hasn't. It sounds funny. He hasn't left Philadelphia yet. When I say that, I mean that the story is still here.
Sure.
They're still talking about this, and it amazes me.
I think he left Philadelphia week 2 last year, though. I think AJ Brown left Philadelphia a long time ago.
Yeah, but his feelings are his motor left. His feelings are still there, and you hear it on podcasts he jumps on.
It doesn't mean that the production won't be there. Did Antonio Brown ever leave the Steelers? I mean, one could argue no, but the productivity was always there on game day. I think AJ Brown will be the same way. And man, I mean, of course, it's up to New England if they want to bring Diggs back. But if I was Diggs, I would be begging.
Yeah, I don't know that he's that guy.
He's not either. Yeah, he's not.
No, and that's why I say you have to deal with whatever he's going to do off the field, because there's going to be something. Like he's proven that. That's just a facet of what he brings to your team, but the talent is there. Another receiver that is still available is Debo. He's 30. At times he looked like the old Debo, but it was kind of inconsistent. That being said, Washington was not a good team. And so your numbers do suffer when the rest of your team isn't very good. So I'll be curious to see where he ends up. There is talk about San Fran maybe bringing him back.
Well, especially since Brandon Ayuk, that's the next name that I would have thought, like as you're mentioning different names, I think of what's his story and how is he going to move on?
So he's still on their roster.
Right.
So
that's
he's
what I'm
not
getting at.
Released.
There's no way. There's no scenario. There's no world where he's playing on the 49ers roster next year. None.
I don't know. They haven't released him.
Mm-mm.
Well, I agree with that, but the reason why they're keeping him is because they want something.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
the best trade package. Yep.
Let's get a 4th or 5th rounder for him at this point. But who's going to give that?
Yeah.
Right.
No, for sure. For sure. Then you have Trayvon Diggs. He spends an overnight session with Green Bay, and no one's picked him up yet. Now, this isn't a shock to me. Again, I compare him and Tariq Woolen as very similar players, where they're very, very boom or bust. They're fast. They're out of position a lot. They make up for being out of position with speed, and you are fine with it when they're getting interceptions, but when the interceptions stop coming, they're just out of position a lot, and that's why neither one of them are on the team they were on. That being said, if you don't have another guy, like if you needed a corner two or maybe a nickel guy or something like that, like they can fill that void. I imagine that's what Tariq's going to be for the Eagles, is kind of a nickel corner kind of position. That could work. One thing that Diggs is better about than Woolen is he is more likely to tackle somebody. But at the end of the day, he's not on a team. I don't know a lot of teams that are looking for a guy that's out of position a lot.
Yeah.
Well, you're looking for a team that needs a corner. I mean, you got to start there right away. I mean, Woolen may not make this team.
I would not be surprised if he doesn't. Again, I mean, you've heard me talk about him for the last 2 years, where it's just like, man, like when he's making the interceptions, you're like, yeah, Like, it was a great interception, but then when you watch the film leading up to it, you're like, they threw it because he's not on his guy.
Right.
And, you know, he has great speed, so he was able to close the gap. And you can say some of that's baiting, but then you watch other plays where he gets absolutely torched. One of the scores for the Patriots in the Super Bowl was on his side. He got torched, not sticking with his guy. Also, the game before that had a similar issue. So, you know, that's just part of who Woolen is. Great talent, tends to not be where he's supposed to be.
Right. But when you think of Stephon Diggs,
Trayvon Diggs.
Trayvon Diggs, I mean, thank you. I knew I said that wrong. You think of that 1 8-game span where he had like 9 interceptions.
Sure.
And then, like, you kind of liken that to, like, okay, it's early in the season because it was like from game 1 to game 8 or 9, he was doing that. And then after that, he didn't get another interception for the rest of the season.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind is he had that section of time where he was getting tons of interceptions, but because the rest of his game was the way it is, where he's out of position a lot and gets burned and whatever, he was on this record-setting pace for interceptions. You know what he wasn't in the conversation for? Defensive Player of the Year, because the rest of his game wasn't that good. You get the highlight reel of you getting an interception, but then you gloss over the fact that you just gave up 2 scores because you weren't even in the screen for the guy you were supposed to be covering.
Right.
Right. And let's face it, he don't want to hit nobody either.
No, I'm just saying of the
a lot
two,
of DBs are like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not trying to tackle anybody. So he is. It wouldn't surprise me that
backs are World Cup players.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to be out there hitting people.
That's why I play linebacker.
Yeah. No, it's I wasn't big enough to do that.
Or safety. Have the closing speed, know where the ball's going, and hit the guy the moment the ball gets there.
Yeah, I did play some safety, but I liked corner. I liked corner.
Yeah, that's what happens when you got a little bit more speed. I was slow.
Yeah, no, corner was fun. But that being said, we do have to get out of here. Erwin, you're right. If you're listening on 97.3 ICU Radio, we do have some smooth jazz headed your way. And of course, if you are on every other platform, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us bring our stuff to you. We'll talk some more about the NFL tomorrow. Otherwise, we will see you all, I guess, then. Take it easy, everybody.
Take care, guys.
See you guys.